Hi, I'm Eitan and welcome to Wix Fixer, and today we're going to be customizing a product page in Wix stores together. So let's get started. Okay, so here I have a product page of a simple product that I set up, which is this fancy new car. And basically what we want to try and do today is create our own custom product page. So when you start using Wix stores, you get a template that is made by Wix that looks pretty much like this. And you have a few things that you can edit here, but mostly it's going to look like this. And I want to create something that looks more, for example, like this. Okay, something that's ultra customized that fits my brand better. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to be using the getProduct and addProducts APIs in Velo. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a section over here. And I'm just going to add a blank section. And this section is actually going to be our new product page. And this old section, what I'm going to do with it is just hide it. So you can do that here by just clicking collapsed. And then when we preview this page, you'll see that we don't see our old product page anymore. We actually just see a blank section, which is what I just added now. So let's start adding some things to that section. So first of all, let's add a nice background color. So change section background color, and let's choose, I don't know, this light blue. And then we're going to start adding some of the elements that we'll be needing for our product, like we have here in the old product page. So we have an image. So I'm going to add an image over here. Just going to use a Wix image. Whoops. Free from Wix. So let's just use this blank image. And this is going to be an image of our car in the end of the day. And I can crop it and make it whatever size that we want. Okay, and this is going to be our main image. And I can add a little touch of mine. So I can add some design. And I can choose a frame so I can make it look, for example, like this. Okay, with nice rounded edges instead of the frame that we have over here in the standard Wix version. Okay, so I have my image. And what else do I need to have? I need to have the name. So I'm going to put that over here as well. I'm going to add some text. Heading 1. And this is going to be nice and large right over here. And this is going to be the product name. And this is really enough for us to get started. So let's really start touching into some of the Velo that we're going to be doing behind the scenes. And make sure that you have dev mode on. And we're going to be working over here in the product page code. I'm just going to make the font a little larger so it's easier for you to see. And let's start with our first API that we'll be using, which is the getProduct API. So that's right over here. And this will basically give us all the information of a certain product. And the way we use it is, first of all, by just tapping into our product page element and then get product. Okay, so let's just copy this code right over here. And then I'm going to go over here, get.getProduct. Okay, and here the name of the product page is not my product page, but it was, let's go over here and see, section 1, product page 1. Okay, so I can just change that to plain old product page because we only have one, and this is going to be the name of the element that we need to tap into. So we get product, and then we return a callback function, and this callback function returns the product and all the information of the product. So what I'm going to do basically is just get this product here in the result. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to console.log product because we're going to be taking a look at that together. And don't forget to catch errors. Oops. Error. And if we have an error, we'll just console.log error. Okay, great. So this looks pretty good. Now I'm going to preview our code. And if we look over here, then we can see what I consoled, and this is actually the product. So you see there's lots of information here about the product. For example, when it was created, updated, everything we have in a regular collection. And we have this name field, and we have our, let's look for the image. That's, I think, main media over here. And we also have other media items. So if you add multiple images for your product, then you'll have them in the other media items. So basically, we need name and main media in order to populate what we currently built for our custom product page. So I'm going to go back to the editor, and I am going to set the values of these two elements to be our product's values. And I'm just going to change image to main image. And I'm going to change this to product name. Okay. And then as soon as we get our product, what we can do is instead of, we could still console it because we'll probably need that later. But we're going to just change our main image dot source. Okay. That's how we decide where the image is coming from. And that's going to be equal to product dot, and here we have a list of all the things that can be in product, and we can choose main media. And for our product name, that source, that text is going to be equal to product dot name. Excellent. Let's preview this and see how it looks. And if I go down, if I go up, then we can see that now I have here fancy new car, and I have the image of my car, which doesn't fit very well, and we can change that and adjust it so that it fits depending on what image size we upload. Usually you'd probably decide on the design and then upload images that would fit whatever design you decide on in advance. But as you can see, we've only been working on this for maybe 3 minutes, and we already managed to customize several parts of our product page. We have our own background, we have our own large title over here, and we have a customized image display. So let's add a few more customizations. I'm going to go back to the editor. And what I'm going to be doing also is I'm just going to make our header a little smaller. And I'm going to make our footer a little smaller because it's kind of getting in the way. Yeah, so let's make this other way. Smaller. Excellent. Okay, so let's add some more elements of this product. So what else do we have that we might want to add on? We have the color selection. Okay, so this is a nice place where we can play around. And for example, we can, if we look at the color options that we have, let's just preview. So if I go here and I take a look at the list that comes back here, and I see the product options over here, and we have one option which is called color, and the choices are white, black, and blue. Okay, and I can create a nice custom color selector for our product. So for example, I can take a button, or I could take a box, and we have here white, and let's have another one that will be black. And we're going to have one more, which will be blue. Let's edit design, change design. Okay, and this is, I can really fill out because I know in advance what our colors are going to be. If I didn't know at all what the colors were going to be, I could, for example, use a repeater here, or use possibly just populate each of these boxes with one of the values. But let's call this one white, black, and blue. And now we can program it so that when the user chooses one of these boxes, it decides on the color of the product. And for example, what I can do is I can add another box right over here. And this is going to be the background for our image. And now I'm really just playing around to show you the potential that you have here. And send to back. Okay, and let's say this is called background. And then I can just say that, okay, for each of these elements, so let's say colors equals white, black, and blue. And then I can say colors dot for each color. And then I'm going to add a on click here. So I'm going to say when that element, and here I'm going to use a template literal. So the element that has the name of the color, when we have an on click, we are going to say uh, let product color. And then when we click it, we'll say, okay, product, let's console.log color, just that just for debugging purposes. And we'll say that product color will be equal to white, will be equal to color, depending on what we select. And we can also say that the background, okay, so background dot style dot background color will be equal to, we can have your event, so event dot target dot style dot background color. Okay, and let's check that out and see what that looks like. So I'm going to preview. And I'm sorry that it's a little cut off. I just want you to be able to see the code. So we start off here with blue, and then when I click white, you see the background turns white, and then it turns black, and then it turns blue. And this is just a cool way that you can add some customization and user experience to your product page. And this will also help us select the color when we're passing all that information to the cart. Okay, so let's just set up the rest of the critical information that we need here. So we need, we're going to need quantity, we're going to need price, and we're going to need add to cart. Okay, so let's go to our customized product page, and I'm just going to add text for the price. And this price, we have to remember that we need to make it dynamic based on whatever options that we have here. So I'll show you that in one moment. And let's add quantity. So we're going to add an input. And we'll just add a plain text input. And we'll make this number. Let's say quantity. And if we want, we can make some design changes. Just for example, I'll choose this one over here. Okay, and this is where we'll have quantity. And let's change the name of that to quantity as well. And if this is boring you, you can skip forward to where I actually start dealing with the cart. But if this interests you, I will be tackling different things that we need along the way, so I think it's worth following along. Let's add a button. Just for our add to cart. Let's change the design up, make it something a little more interesting. So I'm going to customize the design. And let's make it with rounded corners. Okay, something that's a little more customized that maybe we wouldn't be able to have with the Wix product page. And let's change the text. This will just be add to cart. Okay, excellent. And this will be add to cart button. And I really recommend changing the names, the IDs of your elements. It will really help when you're writing your code. So what we need to do is we need to populate this price now. And if we just take another preview of our product and see what came back with the product. So let's see if we can find our price here. Okay, so price is 100, but we also have to check out and see in our product options, we have color, we have choices, and it doesn't give us the information here. Okay, so where will it give us the information about additional pricing? Maybe it's in variants. Choices, white, variant. Okay, so it's here under variants. And whenever you're setting up your custom product page, depending on what your product is and how you set it up, you're going to need to do some searching over here in the API and what comes back from the product in order to find the information that you need. But with a little searching, you can usually find whatever you need. So we have it here under variants. Okay, and we see that it's variants, choices, variant. So basically, we need to decide on which variant it is based on whichever choice we make. So under choices, so we need to, it's, okay, so if our choices.color will be equal to the name of our selection, then we're going to use that variance price. Okay, so it's a little complicated. Let's go back to the editor. And basically, when we make this selection, so we're going to start off with our default price. So that means that right over here, I'm going to have price text is going to equal to product price. Okay, so we're going to start off with our regular price. And this needs to be dot to string. And we also should probably check what the currency is of the price, and we'd probably add that to the text over here. Okay, like add the currency also as a string. And let's see if I can find that. So that was, I'm going to add that before right over here. That would be product dot currency. Okay, currency, great. So I'm going to have product dot currency plus product dot price. And let's just take a look at what that looks like. Okay, so we have here USD 100, and you can put a space in between. You can switch it around. You can use a symbol instead, depending on what your currencies are and how you want to match them up. But for now, I'm just going to leave it like this. And now we basically need to work on our variants, right? Because depending on the product color, we're going to want to show a different price. So our product color is going to be equal to color. And then we're going to say let variant price equal product. And so now we have a little bit of a problem because our product is only within this then. Okay, so basically what I want to do is declare a variable up here, and let's say product. And then as soon as we get our product, I'm going to say product is equal to product. Okay, and since they're both named the same thing, it's a little misleading. So I'm just going to say product info for the general one. And then I'm going to change it right over here. And then we're not throwing any errors, and we're also not confusing ourselves. Great. So here for the variant price, I'm going to be using the product info. And then we need to say, now I need to check again what our path is to that information. And we're throwing errors, of course, because I have this code open here that is wrong. And this is the added bonus of following along with me, that you see me make mistakes and you can learn from them. Okay, so we have here variants. Variants, and then we have an array. And in each array, we have choices and variant. So variants dot choices dot color. That's our first one. Let me write it here. Variants product info dot variants dot color. No, sorry. Dot choices dot color. And let's just console dot variant dot choices. Okay, variants. Okay, and now we have to choose. Basically, we have to choose the variant that matches the color that we have here. So we should say, okay, so let's say we have product info dot variants, and then what I'll do is I'll filter that array, and I'll filter it, and I'll say that it's the variant. I'm just going to use v, because we're going to have variant later on, so I don't want to confuse myself. V dot choices dot color equals color dot to uppercase. Okay, and I hope that doesn't converts all. Okay, that converts everything to uppercase. So that's not what I want. I just want the. Okay, I'm gonna do it the other way around. I'm going to say color dot to lowercase is equal to color. And we're throwing an error here. Equals. Excellent. Because I wasn't assigning a value, I was saying that they have equality. And great, so I filtered that. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to I'm going to save this in a variable. So let's say let current choice equals, or current variant, let's say current variant. Let current variant equal to this. It's basically going to be an array with one item. And then what I want to do is I want to console.log current variant, just to see if what we did is working. So I'm going to take this away. And now I'm going to preview. And I'm just going to click on one of these. And then here I have my variant. Okay, so here choices, and here I can get my updated price. So now I just need to tap into variant price. So I'm going to go back to the editor, and now I'm going to say price text is going to be equal to product info dot currency plus current variant dot variant dot price, I think it was, dot to string. And I would definitely recommend using a notepad here and not trying to remember everything by heart like I'm doing. I'm just a little too lazy to open the notepad now, and I'm probably just harming myself. So I'm previewing that, and let's try changing this to black. And our price did not change, so let's see where I made a mistake. Okay, so the problem is that it was an array, and I think I need to say that we're going to be in item 0 of the array, variant price. So let's go back to the editor, and product.currency and current variant 0. Add variant.price.toString. Let's see if that works. And there we go. So now our prices are also changing based on our variants, which is great. And it even starts out that it's right with 100 on blue, and everything is working. And here, if I want, I can add a quantity. And I don't really need to take anything here from the, so here we can go into minus, which is a problem. We can probably debug that later on. And then we just have to add to cart. So let's work on adding to cart, which is the next big step of this project. So we're going to add an event handler for our button. So add to cart button dot on click. And basically what we want to do now is to use this second part of this API, which is add products. So what do I need to do? First, I need to import cart from Wix stores. So I'm going to do that. And I'll put that right over here on top. And then I need to define my product. So that's what I'm going to do right over here. And we're only going to use one product. And we're going to use this one right over here. So let's choose this right over here. So this needs to be an array. It's an array of various products, but we're only adding one product, so we're just going to add an array with one object. So it's going to be all of this, actually. Okay, and if you want to take a look over here, you can see all the things that can be included within this product. So it's products, and then you have the product ID and the quantity, and then you have options. And here are different options that you have. So you have choices, custom text field. and we're just going to be using the choices one for this product. So I'm just going to copy over the template that they have here. And this needs to be in an array, don't forget. And this array is going to be called products. Products. Excellent. Okay, so let's start populating this. And this will be product info .id, if I'm not mistaken. We'll see if that throws an error. Quantity will be the value of our quantity input dot value. And our options, so we don't have weight. What we have is just color. So I'm going to erase these options. And just notice here that it's capital color. And for the color, we are going to use the product color. My only issue is that this is now going to be lowercase. Let's try and just use the lowercase and see if that would throw an error. Then we would need to refactor our code a little bit so that it would be uppercase. So I'm just going to use here product color. And then let's see what the next thing we need to do is. Then we need to do cart.addProducts. Okay, so we're going to do that over here. So we're going to do cart.addProducts. And then it has, we need to pass the products here, okay, that we defined over here. And why is it showing an error? Let's take a look over here and see what I might have done wrong. Sorry, this one. Okay, so it's an array. Let's take a look at the documentation. Information, product, get options, availability, add to cart. Okay, it seems like I did it right. Let's see what the error says here again. Argument of type, product ID, any string is not assignable to product type, quantity string, options, choices, color, any types of property quantity are not compatible. Okay, because I think that our quantity here is a number, and we actually need this to be to string. And let's see if that helps us out. Not assignable to type number. But I told you to string now. Okay, let's see if this actually throws an error when we run the code, because I think that that should have dealt with the error that we had, the error that it was telling us about over here. So let's see what happens after that. Then after we add the products, we get an updated cart with an ID and line items. So I'm going to get that updated cart. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to console that. We can see everything that's in our cart. And let's not forget to catch errors, which we may very well have. Excellent. Format that. And let's try it out. So I'm going to go into preview mode here. Great, let's set our quantity to. Let's pick color black, and let's click add to cart and see what happens. Error, invalid quantity should be rational and greater than 0. Okay, let's do this on click. So instead of doing all this here, I'm only going to console what our quantity is. So let's say quantity.value, console.log. And this is called debugging, and this is going to happen to you, even if you follow along with this video and you learn from all of my mistakes. You will also have some mistakes of your own, and you'll just need to use console.log to figure out where you're hitting problems and solve them. Great, so let's check this out. So I'm going to put quantity 2 again here and add to cart. Okay, so I am getting a value of 2. Dot value dot toString. Let's preview that again. Two, add to cart, and we're still getting 2 here. Okay, so that looks okay. And I'm gonna get rid of this console, and I'm gonna try run it one more time and just take a look at that error that we threw again. Quantity, types from quantity are incompatible. Type string is not assignable to type number. Let's check here, add products, quantity, number. Okay, so quantity does need to be number. Okay, let's see. So let's get rid of this toString. I don't know why I got confused with that before. And let's wrap this all in a JavaScript number. And that solved our problem. So if you're not familiar, this is how you change something to a number in JavaScript, or at least one of the ways. And let's try our code one more time. And that's why it's super important to be checking out the documentation and sorry about that plane. That's why it's super important to be checking out the documentation and debugging along the way. So I'm going to try again, quantity 2, and add to cart, and we got back our cart. So let's see what our line items are in the cart. So we have our media item, we have a product ID, physical, fancy new car, price, quantity. Okay, so we have all the information that we would need inside of our cart to display it. And just to show you, let's go to our actual cart page, and you can see that my fancy new car is in the cart. And all the values are correct. And we just customized our own product page using Wix. So if you've been following along, give yourself a round of applause. I know it's not beautiful, but it is customized. It's very different than the Wix UI, and you can use your imagination and your design skills and create something that looks amazing and branded. So if you like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm trying to release videos daily, and if you have any questions, please comment below. I hope to see you next time.